When you spoke about the money printing press, where we become reliant on the daddy state that will give us lots of money, and we don't need to work and we don't need to worry about anything because the printing press will just give us more money. I recently released a video called Printing Press Goes Brr, Bitcoin Goes Boom. And what I'm talking about in that video is the more money that the printing press pumps out, the more people are forced into a harder money such as Bitcoin. Whether they like Bitcoin or not, it's in two ways. What I'm finding now is people are shifting into Bitcoin, not because they think they can buy a Lamborghini, but because there's no other choice. It is now at a point that if you keep your money in cash, it's becoming a liability. It's financially irresponsible to not at least have some Bitcoin, as people are fleeing out of the US dollar and trying to run to a new money, which is Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on the future of money? If America keeps printing it and America keeps pushing everyone into a corner to go a certain way, and people do flee the states at a national level and then at a federal level going somewhere else, when will it stop? Do you think there could be a war on the horizon?
Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, look at one of the things right now with Bitcoin. They're trying to find out how to regulate Bitcoin. Janet Yellen is trying to do whatever she can to get a hold of Bitcoin. For 5 years, if you see anybody asking me about Bitcoin, watch what's been my biggest concern every single time. They're going to try to regulate it. They're going to try to regulate it. They're going to try to regulate it. That's the biggest thing, because that's what the government likes to do. They like to regulate gold. They like to regulate Bitcoin. They like to regulate anything and everything they can get their hands on to administrate. So I don't know. I think I can tell you one thing for a fact is today, if there's ever been an era where all the Bitcoin people are laughing, saying, I told you so, today's the day. Like all the Bitcoin, pro-Bitcoin people ought to go on Twitter and say, I told you so, hashtag Bitcoin. They have the right to do so because they can say that today. Now, remember how earlier I talked to you about the most dangerous people you'll ever face are lazy, ambitious people?
Yeah.
Regulators and politicians are exactly that. They're the lazy, ambitious people. They hate the fact that you came up with an idea that you don't need somebody to take care of you. They hate the fact that you don't need a guy in your pocket to finance your election or whatever your campaign. They hate the fact that they're not willing to work 7 to 10 o'clock at night to build a business and go sell it for $100 million 5 years later or 10 years later for $1 billion. They hate that because they're not going to do that. That's not what they're going to do. So what do? They go behind closed doors and say, I'm going to go get power. You want all the freedom? I'm going to be able to push you around because I'll have the power. I make the laws. I'm the lawmaker, and I can make laws to make your life a living hell. That's how they do it. So Bitcoin's biggest enemy is going to be the lawmakers, the politicians, governments that are going to want to get into it. The benefit, I hope Elon Musk supports you guys and stays that way, doesn't go back and forth, doesn't kind of like, because you guys need a very strong supporter on your end to prevent these other guys from getting away. The good news right now is JP Morgan Chase just officially put 35 or 34 job postings online for people that are experts in blockchain. And, you know, quite frankly, Morgan Stanley only put 2 and Goldman Sachs only put 2, but JP Morgan Chase put 34, 35. Everybody's like, what? Wait, what? JP Morgan is hiring 34 blockchain experts? Yes. Why? Well, they're coming out with their own Bitcoin. So the more these stories happens and you have the allies, when it gets to a point where they're facing off the enemies, that's where you benefit. But then you have to also be thinking about if they come out with their own crypto, say JP Morgan Chase comes out with their own crypto, do you think behind closed doors they would support some of the politicians to hurt the Bitcoin brand because they're not Bitcoin, they're a different crypto? I don't know. All I'm saying to you is you have to pay very, very close attention to the lawmakers and the lazy, ambitious people, because they're the ones that are probably going to try to make your life a living hell.